Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review where I'm looking at a mini driver. Now the reason I'm looking at a mini driver is because let's be honest, mini drivers are the thing to have in your bag nowadays. Do I agree with that? We'll discuss that at the end, but a lot of people are putting them in there, especially if they're struggling with their drivers. I mean, even tour players are using them. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood has a mini driver in his bag. Rick Fowler was trying a mini driver out couple of weeks ago. A lot of players are starting to use these clubs, and a lot of the brands are producing these clubs now. Last year Callaway joined the sort of the modern mini driver era with their AI Smoke 340 Ti. Obviously TaylorMade have been doing it for years, and they've currently got an aero burner version out. And this year PXG has joined the ranks with their secret weapon. I have it right here. There you go. Review going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks for this, by the way. So always remember to subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done so, and hit the bell icon so you do not miss out on this review. Already had it down on the course actually. It is a beast, so you don't want to miss out on that. As I said, as I mentioned earlier, Ricky Fowler's been trying a mini driver because Cobra are about to bring out a new one. Well, not new one, they're about to bring out a mini driver. I think it's the first time they've ever done it. Titleist are bringing out a mini driver as well. I'll be interested to see if Ping does over the next couple of sort of months as well. They used to do that sort of stretch version of their fairway. It was sort of nearly a mini driver. It wasn't quite as big, but definitely a bigger 3-wood. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring that back and jump on the bandwagon. But as I mentioned, it's all about mini drivers at the moment. Now, I've already reviewed an older one, so 2015 TaylorMade Aero Burner, so do check that out on the channel. And I'm also reviewing another older one today, because let's be honest, even though this channel I do have new clubs every now and again, reviews coming out, every Sunday, I do reviews of clubs which I think you guys can pick up, save yourself some money and perform just as well as brand new ones. And that's the whole point of this review today, is to see if you can pick up this club rather than buying the brand new version and saving yourself a bit of money but still getting that great performance. And it's a Callaway Bertha Mini 1.5 from 2014. So Callaway's mini driver, quite rare. I mean, you see them every now and again, but Callaway did do a mini driver in 2014, and so I picked it up for you guys today to review it, see if it's any good, and see potentially if you should be getting this over a brand new one of these. And I'm going to discuss the differences just very quickly at the end of this video between these two, because there has been a little bit of a change between mini drivers back in, well, mid 2010s, and obviously the new ones now. Let's be honest, we're getting to mid, oh yeah, we are 2025, aren't we? Yeah, mid 2020. So we will discuss that at the end of this video. But as always, what we're going to do with this video is we're going to have a closer look at this club. I'm going to come back here, go through all the technology that's in it, get down to the range, throw some figures at you, and then come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go. Well, it's a classic looking club, don't get me wrong. I definitely think it's definitely showing his age a little bit. Sometimes you look at sort of the older clubs, especially sort of TaylorMade from the mid sort of 2010s, and they sort of still look fresh, still look good in the bag. It's definitely, in my mind anyways, starting to age a little bit, but the shape of it's really good. You can see it's that bigger sort of 3-wood size there. It's not a bad looking club, to be honest. Now let's get into the technology that's in this. So basically the whole point of this Big Bertha mini driver was more MOI than a typical 3-wood. So there's a higher MOI from a 235 cc head. That's 30% larger than the XR, which is the current model at the time when this was released. So that's 35% larger. So it's quite a bit bigger, and a shape that gives you confidence over the ball. Industrial leading technology, got high ball speed from a forged hyper speed face cut, a forged composite crown, so no carbon fiber in this, by the way, at the moment, and a cambered warbird sole. There you go. Warbird sole, there we go, makes it easier to hit. Long off the fairway for better players. Play this off the fairway for high speed and amazing distance. Adjustability to fit your shot selection as well. You've got 8 combinations with the normal sort of, with Callaway's True Fit conditioner. Just dropped my own one. Might have had a little clang then. That was a PXG's one, by the way. No, it's not the PXG's one. That was the Callaway's one. Got the Callaway one in my hand. That was the PXG shaft. Both the shafts there. But you got their adjustability, which they still have in their modern drivers, with 8 different combinations. So you can increase the loft by 2 or decrease it by 1, and obviously change the lie angle to draw or neutral configurations. So this was 14 degrees. I could go all the way up to 16 or go down to 13. And I like Callaway's one because you can adjust, basically, adjust that loft without changing the face or without making it more draw bias, etc. Unlike TaylorMade, PXG, for example. So really good sort of true fit technology there. In my mind, true fit is actually timeless. I don't know how to use the words for that, but yeah. So there's the technology that's in this, and not a huge amount in there. Obviously it's been aerodynamics there, but there's no real weight at the back to help with them. Get the ball up in the air. Obviously there will be weighting inside it. And it's a solid feeling head. So yeah, so nothing like, the PXG here, which has got carbon fiber on the top, got full weights on the bottom, etc. But anyway, still, at the time, it was full of technology. So there you go. Now, so it's a very brief technology bit. Sometimes with the new stuff, I'm here for like 9 minutes. It's only going to be like 4.5 minutes or something, this section. Anyway, so there you go. Now, let's get down to the range. I'm going to throw some figures at you, and then we're going to come back here for the ACS Golf Scout and my overall thoughts about this. And I'm not going to lie, the aero burner I loved. I'm not too sure about this one. And I'll explain obviously why when we go through the ACS Golf Scout. All right, let's have a look at this down at the range.
Here I'm down at the range with the Mini driver. Now it is a cold winter's day with this, the wind's coming in my face, so I'm not expecting this to go miles, and it didn't. On average I had a carry of 196 yards, total distance of 218 yards, ball speed 138 miles per hour, launch angle 13 degrees and height 58 feet. Now when it came down to the longest on the day, I had a 201-yard carry one with total distance of 228 yards and an impressive ball speed 141 miles per hour and a launch angle 13 and a height 57. So happy with that. Shortest was only around 209, so not the end of the world. And those were really when I was hitting it off the deck and I just wasn't getting that launch. That launch was only 10 degrees and in a height of 45 feet. Overall, it felt good. Obviously, this is a bigger fairway wood. It's a difficult one because it's not as big as a modern day mini driver. So distance wise, it's all right, but I think you can probably get, your big hitting fairway woods, such as TaylorMade, etc. Maybe getting up to the distance of this. So a little bit disappointed with the distance, I guess. It is great. It is relatively easy enough to hit off the deck because it is that smaller mini driver. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but distance-wise, I did a little bit want more, so I was a bit disappointed in a table for you. As I mentioned, was a little bit disappointed about the distance. Would definitely have liked a little bit more, but again, it is in winter. Ball speed was quite impressive though, 141. So I do feel, it was there, but maybe a little bit too spinny. My bad shots when I do sort of draw it, maybe did overdraw a little bit too much, which definitely affected the distance. When it came down to shortest, not bad really. That was really a bad hit, and it kept the ball speed up to 134 miles per hour. So overall, not bad figures. I was just hoping for a little bit more distance, to be honest.
So there you go. Now I am disappointed with the figures. I am telling myself, well, hold on, I am testing this in winter. I'm not going to be getting amazing numbers with it, and I was getting good ball speed with it. So potentially in the summer when the ball's going to go further, not have a headwind in my face or I think it was even drizzling at the time as well. I probably would have got more distance with it with that type of ball speed. So not the end of the world, but I just wanted more. I did. I wanted more. I wanted this sort of, as I said, average was 218. I wanted it to be close to that 230 mark. I really did. The fact they didn't get one over 230 as well was a bit annoying, to be honest. With this type of club, it is a mini driver, but in the end of the day, it's from 2014. I think there is a point where if you've had a club for sort of 10 years, and maybe if you change, you are going to see a bit of a jump up. I think if it's from sort of 2016 upwards, I don't think you're going to do it that much because everything was sort of at the max. Well, a lot of the brands are at the max there, but and I could literally go through drivers where I think if you got that driver, you're really not going to get that much improvement. But I don't know. It's just maybe maybe if this came out 2 years later, then I'll be a little bit more impressed. But anyway, not the end of the world. But I just wanted more. I wanted more, and it was good ball speed. To be fair, it was good ball speed. But anyway, let's get into the ACS golf scale. So remember, we look at distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now, the distance here, for mini drivers, I put it in the category of fairway woods. I don't put it in the category of drivers. And I haven't really made an own category for mini drivers because in my mind, they're fairway woods. They're just bigger fairway woods that people use as driver replacements because maybe the driver's not working or stuff like that. For me, they're just bigger fairway woods rather than looking at them as being smaller drivers. So this is always going to score high in the distance category because of that. But yeah, I mean, I've given it for the distance category a 4.5 out of 5. I don't know how I feel about that. I know I've given it myself, but I sort of half want to give it a 4, but then I'm looking at the ball speed and going, well, the ball speed's really good, better than general fairway wood for me. So maybe, hold on, 4.5 isn't bad. Definitely going to get 5. I don't think it's a 5 at all, but 4.5 and another day, yeah. So I'm giving it a 4.5, but I definitely think on another day it might be a 4, to be honest. Distance, as I said, wasn't bad, but it's more sort of a fairway wood. I think if you're hitting a brand new TaylorMade, which they absolutely rock it, I think they're going to be similar to this distance-wise. So food for thought there, definitely. But yeah, but that ball speed again. Go back to the ball speed. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. I definitely think if you're looking for like your low spin bombers with your sort of I don't know, for example, I don't know why the Cobra LTDX LS came in my mind, even though it's a couple of years old. That thing was an absolute monster. I think that would probably go further than this. I really do. Just because it's more modern, it's got more technology in it, and they've changed everything over a little bit, which is rare for me to say on this channel. Normally, when I'm reviewing older stuff, I never think there's going to be that much of a difference, but this I do. But I'm giving it a 4.5 anyway. Feel 3.5 out of 5. Felt nice. Felt relatively, hot off the face. Nothing massively to write home about, to be honest. Talk about like sort of hitting it as well in a second and sort of consistency wise, but let's just go for the ACS golf scale first. Looks wise, 2.5 out of 5. I like the shape looking down at it, but like I said, it looks all right. If it was in my bag, I would be like, oh my god, that thing's horrible. But it is definitely in my mind showing its age a little bit compared to more modern equipment. So it's not necessarily a timeless look. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5 for me for looks. Forgiveness wise, obviously it is that bigger head, it is that 235cc. So I'm giving it, it's 235cc. Let's just double check that. Yeah, 235cc. So you're obviously going to have a little bit more forgiveness in there because it is a bigger head. So compared to other fairway woods, I'm giving it 4 out of 5. Again, a more modern midi driver. I'd probably expect the forgiveness to be a lot higher than that. But then I'll tell you the difference between this and a modern mini driver in a second, which does affect it. It really does, believe me. Because for me, this is an oversized fairway wood. I mean, if you now look at the majority of your sort of bigger fairway woods, if you go for a 3+ fairway wood or something like that, the majority of them are over that sort of 200 mark anyway. CC, so getting close to this naturally, really. So this, for me, I wouldn't really classify this as a mini driver nowadays. I would generally classify this as just a bigger fairway wood, to be honest. And it makes me go to distance. I'm changing distance. I have to do it. I know we're going back to it. I'm changing it to 4. I don't think it's a 4.5, guys. I think it's a 4. Some might think that's a bit harsh, but I think it's 4. Don't get me wrong. Really good distance for fairway wood, but I just can't get it up above that in my mind, even though the ball speed was good. Price now. Price is a bit of a sticky one with this because there's a bit of a cult following for this, and you're quite rare. So I'm holding their price really well. So golf bidder, £139.99, so it's around $175. They start off at eBay. You're looking between like sort of £110 up to £130. So what, $135 up to about $160. That's a lot for a club that's over 10 years old now. Don't get me wrong. You have the adjustability, with the Callaway But for me, if I was looking at an older mini driver, I'd be looking at the TaylorMade Aeroburner or the TaylorMade SLDR mini driver, to be fair. You know, you don't have the adjustability, but you're going to get more distance. Forgiveness is going to be relatively the same. I would be going down that route over this one, to be fair. And I think they're a little bit bigger as well, more mini driver-esque than this, which I definitely think is more of a bigger fairway wood. So I'm actually giving it a 2 out of 5 for price, to be honest. So not a glowing review of this so far, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I think if you're looking at this, you need to take it out of your mind and it's a mini driver. You need to really put in your mind that it's just a larger fairway wood. Um, so yeah, so Bertha Mini 1.5, Bertha Mini, bigger fairway wood in my mind. um, but yeah, so yeah, not great there. So 2 out of 5. And when it came down to hitting it though, consistency wise, it was very good. Don't get me wrong, off the tee, it was, well, very, inspiring to hit it. I had a lot of confidence with it. I'm not a huge fan of hitting my fairway off the tee. I actually prefer hitting off the deck, which is a bit of a weird one, but I always have done. Had no problems hitting this off the tee. Ball flight was good. Again, didn't necessarily get it in the air that much, but again, I think that's more down to the conditions I was doing it, because launch angle was quite good, 13 degrees. Happy with that, definitely. So yeah, it was easy to get off the head, get it in the air. Off the deck, definitely coming off the low off the face as you'd expect with this. Easy to hit. I've even had this on a golf course and hit it off the deck a few times. Easy to hit, a lot easier than sort of other mini drivers, but does come off the low face, and you're going to struggle to get this in the air. It doesn't pop up in the air as nice as a fairway would as you'd expect, even though it's still 14 degrees now. A lot of fairway woods you can lock down to 14 degrees now. So yeah, so ease of use is good. And you can hit it off the deck relatively quite easy, but obviously ball flight will be changed a little bit, and that's what I want to go into there. Before my overall conclusion about this club, I just want to say what the difference between this and a new mini driver is, and which for me is the main thing why I'm thinking of this more as a fairway wood than a mini driver. It's the size. So here you go. You can just you can see there. You can see the PXG. It's got a bigger face. If I get it in the light there, get it right up to the camera. It's got a bigger face. It's just a bigger club because it is bigger. This is 300cc. This is 235. This is naturally a bigger head. And that's the thing about more modern mini drivers. They're bigger. They are literally more half a driver sort of thing. They're a lot bigger. They're closer to drivers now than they ever have been. Like I said, the Callaway from last year was 340cc. The TaylorMade are up around the 300 mark, over the 300 mark. These mini drivers now are very much mini drivers. This, in my mind, is just a oversized fairway wood. So do be aware of that. So that's the difference between this and the modern one. Same with the TaylorMade, to be fair. The old Aeroburner. I can't remember. I think they were bigger than this, but they're not a hugely amount bigger. So do be aware if you're going older. You're going to get some good mini drivers, because I rate the Aeroburner, I really do. But just be aware, it's not going to be as big, and therefore you're not maybe going to get as much distance, because obviously size does matter in golf, as a brand new one, because they're just a little bit bigger. So there you go. Now, overall thoughts about the Callaway Bertha Mini 1.5. Personally, for such a following with this, and the fact that, they're so thought after, I wanted this to be amazing. Don't get me wrong, for the time it really was. A lot of people loved it and it performed really, really well. And it still does perform really, really well. If you look at it as more a fairway wood rather than looking at it as a mini driver, it is great off the tee, as a lot of fairway woods are, because it is that little bit bigger than your normal fairway wood. It's got ample forgiveness, it's got good distance. But if you're suddenly comparing it to your mini drivers, comparing it to your brand new mini drivers, then you're going to notice a difference. So overall thoughts about the Bertha Mini, not bad. I think there's a lot of better options out there for the price, if I'm honest. But for me, it's not really a mini driver anymore. It is more just an oversized fairway wood. So there's my review of the Bertha Mini 1.5. Not necessarily glowing, but not necessarily, oh my God, go and bin it, don't try it sort of thing. So if you're a big Callaway fan and you want an oversized 3 wood, with all the adjustability, then yeah, have a look at this. Do. It's going to save yourself a lot of money, compared to spending, well, nearly 3 times this to get the new Callaway one, well, the TI one. So yeah, it's worth it. And I think this is definitely going to be easy to hit off the deck than this, to be honest, because of the size. It's a little bit smaller. But there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Callaway Bertha Mini 1.5. Do let me know down in the comments below, if you tried the Bertha Mini 1.5, do you really like it? Do you love it? I wanted to love this club. I really did. And yeah, I think that's why I'm more disappointed than I probably should be, to be fair, because it hasn't done bad. It really hasn't done bad. I was just expecting the world from it, which I was probably expecting a little bit too much. So, do let me know down in the comments down below, what are your thoughts about this club? If you have tried it, if you play a mini driver, what is your mini driver? And also, what have you taken out of the bag to put it in there? Because I'm quite interested. When this goes in my bag, it's I'm playing a shorter course near me, actually Hersham. And I don't need a fairway wood because there's only one par 5, and if you get around the corner, it's a 5-iron. You don't need a fairway wood, so it's great to have this because it's great for accuracy and everything like that, which is good as well. It's good for accuracy. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you've taken out the bag to put this in. But yeah, so there you go. Then let me know down in the comments down below. As I mentioned before, do subscribe to the channel if you're new and you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like, and I'll see you soon for the next ACS Golf review. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.